Hi Dan, hi Kay. It's Kim, or Kimmy Knits, Kimmy Knits of the Come Knit With Us podcast, and I just wanted to wish you a happy Podiversary. We love you guys so much. On behalf of Jeffrey and Steven, our bakery bears that we use at the beginning of every podcast, thank you so much. You've been such an inspiration and such an influence, and I love you guys so much. Happy anniversary.
Susie from Knit Natural, all the way from Saskatchewan, Canada, wishing you a happy 1-year anniversary. Sorry.
Happy Podcasterversary, Dan and Kay, from Diane, Pink Perler, and Derek, Drum Roller, and also Little Harvey, who, as you can see, enjoys working for his son.
Well, thanks, Bob. Who's seen Bob the Builder?
Bob the Builder. Happy Podcasterversary, Dan and Kay, from South Africa.
I don't know.
A little bit of friction of the...
Yeah.
Hi Kay and Dan, Sarah and Garrett here. We just wanted to send a quick shout out to you guys to wish you a happy Podiversary, as you're probably our favorite podcast, including my own. Take care, guys. Bye.
I don't understand the logic of that.
Well, I don't understand it either, but I'm telling you, it's a fact.
Hi Dan and Kay. Tilly and I would like to say happy Podiversary from Belfast.
Oh yeah, God, they feel huge.
Well, there's no fat on them, are there?
Just say I enjoy every single episode and look forward to many more. Here's my bakery bear saying hi and thank you and keep up the good work.
Hey, it's our podcasterversary.
Yay!
And it's a bank holiday, so there's lots of people around.
There is.
But at the moment, we seem to be getting away with not looking weird.
Yeah.
We just look like two people, one who's knitting,
Yeah.
the other who's talking to the other person.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm talking to all of you. Yay!
I'm sure there will come a time when we start to feel weird.
I always feel weird, and apologies if the sun gets in the way a little bit, but welcome to episode 24. How exciting. We are here at Mount Grace Priory, aren't we?
We are. I was trying to think how long ago it was. I'm sorry for the ambient noises. How long ago it was since we were here, and it's got to be 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's a long time, and I think we forgot. We knew it was nice, but I think we forgot quite how nice it is.
It's very nice.
It's a very different place to the other ones that we've been to because it's a different type of monastery. It's Kay's just on the lookout
Sorry, I was just keeping an eye on Bryony.
for wild animals called Bryony. It's a Carthusian monastery, and that's different to any type of monastery that we've been to before. And it's really exciting because there's only 9 of these in the whole of this country, and this is the only one that you can get access to. And It's supposedly the best preserved Carthusian monastery in all of Europe.
Gosh, there's a lot of it still here, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I can believe that.
And the question is, who were the Carthusians and what makes them different? Well, what makes them different is the Carthusians effectively lived as hermits. They were also vegetarians, and they only came out of their cells. They're hardly cells, though, are they?
Nice little we would probably call them a 2-bed cottage these days.
Which we'll take you around in a minute with a lovely little garden. They lived in their cells. They came out for about 3 hours a day. They processed down into the church, a beautiful little church, which we'll take you around in a second. They sang some services, and then they went back, and they never spoke to anybody. We're actually sat on the lay brothers side of the monastery, and the lay brothers side is where all the people who made the monastery work lived. So they went out and did the farming and got the food. I think I've already said they were vegetarians, so they'd go and get all the vegetables in and cook the meals, and then they would take them, and we'll show you in just a second, we'll show you how that they would give the meals to the monks without them actually being seen. It's an ingenious way, very simple, but certainly...
It's just a hole in the wall, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So shall we go and find out a little bit more about Mount Grace Priory, and we'll see you back here in just a second. Mount Grace Priory was formed by Thomas de Hollande, a nephew of King Richard II, in 1398. Now, King Richard and Thomas had a special devotion to the Carthusians, who lived at Mount Grace. Imagine on their foundation how successful this order looked, with their powerful patrons, the new king and his family. Richard II was great-grandson of Edward the Longshanks. Now, some of you may remember him from the film Braveheart. He was the Hammer of the Scots, the King of England, and he succeeded the throne of England in 1377, aged 10. England was ruled by council controlled by Richard's uncle, John of Gaunt. Aged 14, Richard took control of the country and played a huge part in suppressing the Peasants' Revolt of 1381. This revolt had sprung up largely due to the constant taxation to fund the wars in France. Possibly due to Richard's tough upbringing, it seems highly likely he had quite a large personality disorder. In 1397, the year before the foundation of Mount Grace, King Richard arrested and executed many key members of his government. In their place, he promoted Thomas and his father John, who in turn then went on to form Mount Grace Priory the year later. On its foundation, Thomas installed Robert as its first prior. The monks were ordered to pray for the king, queen, and several members of the royal family, and this was the cloister that their houses were placed around. Now, within a Carthusian monastery, the cloister exists just the same as all the other monasteries that we've existed. The difference is, through these doors were houses, and these houses are where the monks lived, and they never came out. Now, that's not strictly true. They did come out, but they only came out when none of the lay brothers who were tending the fields and preparing their food were around. They came out at night, they walked into the church, they sang a service, and then they came back to they called them cells, but as we'll see later, they're a little bit more like cottages. They went back to their cottages, which you can see now. Here are the remains of those cottages. There's 22 in all. This was the drain that surrounded the monastery. They were very, very clean people, very much like the Romans actually. They would always make sure that they had a water source that they could move to take away their waste. And this is actually the far side of the monastery. So this is outside of the monastery, and this is walking through a gate that would have been in the back of one of the gardens of one of the monks. So the monastery formed. Now, I call it a monastery, that's not strictly true. Carthusian houses were not called monasteries, they were normally called charter houses or chapter houses. In 1399, things started to go a little bit wrong. Richard II arrested, tried and killed some of the leading politicians in the country, as we've already found out. He was sure that there was a plot against him. Historians now believe that this was not the case. It was his mind playing tricks on him, playing back to his personality disorder, I think. By 1400, he'd exiled his cousin Henry of Bolingbroke, who stood to succeed him as king, as Richard was childless. This led to Henry taking up arms against King Richard, and on August the 19th, 1399, Richard met his cousin, Henry, at Flint Castle and promised to abdicate if his life was spared. Now, Henry initially promised that he would do this, but as time progressed onwards, things started to change. Thomas Holland, the founder of the abbey that we're looking round right now, started a bit of a rebellion, and it didn't go well. They were found out, they were all arrested, and suddenly Mount Grace found itself without any patrons. Now here we are actually walking inside one of the houses, one of the cells where the monks lived. Now this actually is a little walkway which they would go into to pray and get some exercise if it was raining outside. That there is their private garden where they used to grow herbs and vegetables, and we'll have a look in there in just a minute. This is not, it's a reconstruction. All these were ruined. We've already seen, obviously, the ruins outside. And in the late 90s, English Heritage actually rebuilt, and this is exactly how it would have been. They rebuilt one of the cells stroke cottages, as Kay so rightly calls them, that surround the cloister that we've just walked through. And it's unbelievably interesting to go into because you get to see some of the areas where they would have prayed and lived and slept. Here is their main study with a nice big fireplace, a lovely desk there. Then looking in there, that's where they would have copied up scriptures, spend a lot of time effectively doing Bible study. In here is the bedroom. Now the beds are unbelievably small because of course over the course of time we have got bigger, we've got much taller, and also as well I've had to lighten this picture up dramatically. It was so dark in there. You get a real picture of, when you consider they had no electricity, how dark it was. Obviously in these cottages there was an upstairs, and these stairs are so tricky to get up, especially when you've got big feet like me, but managed to get up them I did. And when you get up there, you see some amazing things, because what were these guys doing? They obviously had to wear clothes. They had sheep, as we found out in other visits. So the sheep were being shorn, and then they were making cloth. And yes, the majority of this cloth was for them to wear, but they were also making this for their lay brothers, and also an awful lot would get given to the poor. This is a look down into the garden that we shall go and explore in just a minute. And look at the beams there, absolutely amazing building. And of course they were an amazing building because they were funded always by wealthy people. And these wealthy people thought, as we found out earlier on in today's visit, that if they funded houses like this, they then had a certain amount of control over who these people were praying for, and it would ensure that they had a safe passage when their time came to heaven. So they threw loads and loads of money at these buildings, and that's why all the monasteries that we've seen over the course of all our visits always look so unbelievably stunning. Now we're back downstairs. We're walking past the door we walked through into the study, and we're on our way outside. And as many of you have pointed out many times, I always like showing you the loos. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's because I just find myself feeling unbelievably close to people from so long ago when you see where they used to go to the toilet. So this is the lovely covered walkway that he would have been able to go down if in the middle of the night, as we all sometimes do, we wake up and we need to pop to the toilet. So down he goes to the end of his garden. And do you remember that stream, the thing I showed you that was going all the way around the outside, the stream? Well, these overhung that stream. So the stream was always flowing because they controlled their water very well, and it would wash away anything that was deposited in this toilet. Now, obviously, as well as we've already seen looking out the windows, there is a lovely garden. And here is a reconstruction of that garden. It's so tranquil. And you can just imagine how when the monastery, well, the chapter house, as we've established, was working, it would have been unbelievably silent. And a great place to contemplate and pray and do all the things that monks were there to do. And whilst you weren't getting to see anybody and spend time with anyone, which would have been tremendously difficult, I do see how lovely a life it must have been when you were inside here and not seeing all the things that were going on outside, the political machinations, as we've already seen, with patrons who were unfortunately being tried and executed, and then, you know, as we'll find out in part 2, the walls did in essence come crashing down when the dissolution happened. But if you think this monastery was formed in 1398 and it wasn't dissolved until 1539, it had a reasonably good life. All that said, there are many hundreds of Carthusian monasteries that are still in existence today, which I think is just tremendous. So what we're seeing here, this way of life, still exists. As we finish our tour of one of the cells, let's have a look at this. This is where the monk would be passed his dinner by one of the lay brothers. Of course, he wasn't allowed to see anybody, and so he couldn't be seen by or see the person who was bringing him food. So they would slide it in there, he would stand on the other side, and he would pull it out. Here we are now back in the cloister, and you can see there all along that far wall all the other cells, cottages that are there, and we're now on our way down the side of the cloister. This would have been covered over. Obviously the cloister out in the middle would have been a lovely garden, but they would have walked down underneath this covered walkway down to the church. Now the church is not particularly large, and it's not large because there was only 22 monks who ever lived at Mount Grace Priory. Yes, there were lay brothers, and there is a lay brothers choir within the church, but the church itself never had to house that many people. And you can see 2 familiar faces there giving us a little wave. Now they're actually in a building that is attached to the church, and the church is just to the left there, which we're going to explore in just a second. You can see there, we've already mentioned that this is one of the best preserved Carthusian monasteries. Look at the size of these walls. As Kay said, there is a substantial amount of building still left, very reminiscent of Fountains Abbey in what's left here. We're now stood looking down and up at the church, and Thomas de Holland is actually buried. The founder of this priory is buried within the church, which I think is just it's tremendous, and you know, really makes you just feel so close to, again, as I've said, the people who built this monastery. Here we are in the church. We're now actually walking up one of the sides of the choir, and you'll see down there's a floor that is very reminiscent of Byland's, and now the whole floor would have been like that. It would have been red, and it would have looked absolutely beautiful. As we look up here now, we now see where the altar would have been. The cross that's there, the stone cross, that is being put there in the last probably 20-30 years. And we're now walking into the building. You can see there up on the side to the right where a roof would have been. So that would have been a roof, and you can see just on the right side of the picture where the beam would have come out that would have held that roof up. And here we are looking up at the very small, but unbelievable, it's sort of cute really when you compare it to places like Fountains. There is the tower. And as I understand it, Thomas de Holland is buried underneath this tower. Wasn't that fun? Did you like that?
I did.
Yes. So we've gone with the voiceover technique because we had some very positive feedback about that, Kate.
Oh, really?
People seem to like the voiceover technique because,
cool.
well, it does get around the whole wind issue.
Yes, that's true.
And I don't mean beans.
No.
Yeah, and you know, I really appreciate that feedback actually, because I was a little bit concerned when the whole cat and the hail.
Oh gosh, yeah. It started to hailstone, and there was a cat around our ankles, and it all went pear-shaped.
It's very bonkers.
Yeah.
So that's the end of part 1 of favourite places to meet. Now we'll be back later on in our Podcasterversary special to find out about what happened to Mount Grace Priory after it was dissolved. So we'll see you then. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? I just realised we'll be very loud in the microphone.
Look at the wrinkles around my eyes.
We're in Kay's craft room. How exciting.
Are we going to move up?
Well, how can we? Because we couldn't find any chairs. So unfortunately, the podcast today will have very loud audio and just our foreheads. Not really.
No, we're here.
Hey, and look, it says K over your head.
Oh, it does.
And over
You've
my
got
head,
B.
it says B.
Ah.
What does that stand for?
Bryony.
Of course.
Fool.
Sorry.
You haven't got a letter.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
I have got one to cross stitch, but I've just never done it.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
It's okay.
And then in the middle, right there,
Oh, look.
there's us.
Oh.
Because that looks like he's floating.
It does.
And you've still got those flowers, haven't you?
I did have,
Oh.
but I have thrown them now.
Oh.
They just, I kind of dried them out. I put them in the airing cupboard.
Ew.
And they dried out, but the problem was they all went crispy and all the leaves just fell off, so I decided.
Sounds like us as we've got older.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
So we thought as a one-off.
We are back in the room where we were a year ago, exactly.
Yeah.
Except I've had a change around and I've now got a beautiful new IKEA work table, I suppose
Yeah,
it is.
those two words don't normally go together, do they?
Beautiful and IKEA.
But it really is nice.
It's like a 2 metre long white
And it's sturdy.
plain
It's
table.
sturdy,
It's
isn't it?
very sturdy, yeah. So I've got my sewing machine in here, all my fabrics in here, my yarns all in here, and I still work in here as well. It's still my office, my work office. So it's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah, there was one frustration. I don't know about anywhere else in the world, and I'm guessing it's the same everywhere. But I do find the IKEA website a difficult place to negotiate.
Oh, we've got lots of legs. I don't know.
When
how
I
that-
buy a table,
You-
I don't expect to buy a tabletop.
But that's what it was, because you could have black legs or white legs.
I get that. So, what happened?
I don't know, but
We have 10 legs.
2 sets of legs came, but I'm sure I only paid for one. So we can only think that it was a tabletop and legs together.
That's good value for 36 quid then.
Well, yeah, I know. Maybe I did pay for 2, because I did have a bit of a problem when I was putting them in my basket, because I ordered black ones first of all. And then I thought, no, obviously it's a white table. So I went back and I took that out of my basket and put in white ones. I'm sure I didn't pay for 2 lots, but they were only 5 quid anyway. But
the IKEA website,
it's a bit of a nightmare.
is a difficult place to negotiate.
Yeah.
Because when you do try and buy stuff, it doesn't have the flow through that you would expect.
No.
For example, it did say tabletop, and it should surely have on there linked you directly to the legs.
But it didn't,
It
did
did
it?
not.
You had to go about it some
Weird
long,
way.
polluted way.
Yeah. And I think it must be very easy. It certainly would be very easy to go on there. I know if my mum,
Well, she wouldn't stand a chance.
I know that Jackie is probably watching. And
Yeah, don't tell her, Jackie,
Mike
we
will be
said
lurking in the background somewhere. No telling her this. But if she was to try and order something on the IKEA website, I don't think what would
No.
happen.
Because I struggle. Well, that's not much of a testament, really, is it? Because I'm not very good at these things. But I can order stuff online.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it wasn't the easiest thing in the world. And then I'm not even going to start about how much the delivery cost was.
Well, that's where they make their money. Because there was no way. We have a big vehicle, but there was no way.
We couldn't
I measured it up.
fit
I couldn't
a 2 metre.
I couldn't get this in the
no,
twin cab.
No, it wouldn't fit. So we had to get it delivered. And you have no choice but to pay £35 for delivery.
And it's not even like next day or
No,
within the next
it was
3
like
days.
it was
It's like
a week.
later.
It was the following week. It was probably a full week.
Maybe they sailed it here.
Well, no, it came from Newcastle.
Yeah, I know.
Because they were
But maybe-
Geordies that
maybe
delivered it.
I don't think he was. I think one of them was Irish.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I do struggle with accents.
Yes, even though you are Irish.
Even though I'm
Half.
half Irish, yeah.
Half. So
So, in
It's
any
here
case,
anyway,
it's here
and it's
it's such a fantastic...
I have the scars to prove it's built.
Oh, yeah, lots of...
I'm such a weed. I
well,
can't even.
you've got blisters all over your hands, and I told you to put gloves on, but...
I have never before seen so many screws
Yeah.
needed to put something together. And it wasn't even like you were building a desk, you know, where you would expect. I took
It's just the legs going up.
Took down Kay's old desk, and that was simple. And, you know, just probably 8 or 9 screws, I think, maximum, because...
Really?
Yeah, because they use the dowels to hold things together, and then the screw is then...
Right, yeah.
So it's a much more sensible way. I get, though, why this does need... Because it is such a sturdy thing.
It's very sturdy, yeah.
Which is great.
And I've been sewing on it, and it's brilliant. Cause, you know,
it's just a great place to be.
It is.
The
It's
day
only a
after we
small
did it-
room. You know, it's only a little... It's the smallest bedroom in the house, and it did used to be a bedroom. When we first moved in, Bryony's cot was in here, and it was pink. She didn't stay in here very long, did she? We moved her into a bigger bedroom.
Yeah.
But it's the smallest bedroom in the house, and you can get a single bed in here, but, you know, it works perfectly for my little den, my little knitting den.
It's been a lot, actually, because it's been bedrooms, it's been
has.
my office.
It was your office
It's
at
been
one point, yeah.
your office.
It still is my
Yeah.
office, yeah.
It's been the smoking room. No, I'm joking.
We don't smoke.
I do after I've been running.
Steam. You
Yeah.
don't smoke.
Yeah, I don't light up.
No,
That's so funny. Just
certainly
before I run.
don't.
I'll just have a quick cigarette. That's so funny.
No.
So it's our birthday.
It's our birthday. Happy birthday to us.
No. We will have it sung to us later. Say no more.
Say no more.
Act casual. And someone out there watching may be starting to get a little bit concerned.
Why?
Well, I would be if I'd done what she's done.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we'll find out more about that later. I think it's time for the Podcasterversary. Very special, and I'm so excited about asking you this because it's such a special episode. I think we should do What's on Your Needle. So,
Kay Jones?
who said that?
Who's Kimmy Knits?
From?
Come knit with us.
What's on your needles?
That's amazing. What's on your needles? Hey, thanks, Kim.
Oh,
We'll see you soon on your podcast.
That's so nice.
Thanks for dropping in.
It's Kim Jones.
She was asking herself.
She was. I think she said before that on her desk at work it says Kay. There's a thing that says Kay Jones, or because she's obviously Kay Jones, but Kim rather than Kay. Oh,
How amazing
that's
is
so
that?
sweet.
You need to show her.
Oh, Kim, shall I show you what's on my needles?
She's stolen my thunder, but there's a few things on your needles, so I'll get to ask later.
There is a few things on my needles because it's been a few weeks, and thank you everybody for your messages. I really appreciated that. But we won't dwell. So the first thing on my needles is I've actually done some knitting on my sockhead. I had to think then for a minute what it was. I'm thrown a bit by the fact that I've been talking to Kim this morning now. It's thrown me. She's right here with us. So here's my sockhead. I finished the ribbon. Oh my goodness. Anybody who's knit one of these, 4 inches of 2x2 ribbon on however many stitches this is. Why are you laughing now?
I don't know, it just makes me laugh when you talk about 4 inches of ribbing.
Gosh, honestly, it doesn't take very much, does it? So I think I got to about 3 5/8 or something. It's not quite 4 inches, but I lost the will. But I think it's there or thereabouts. So I've just noticed it's doing like a diagonal.
Stripey.
Kind of, yeah. I wouldn't say pooling because I don't think that's pooling, is it? Oh gosh, somebody's going to say it is. But in any case, I've changed to stocking stitch now, and it does change it, doesn't it? Do you know when you change from your ribbon to your stocking stitch, it does change the sort of the way that the yarn shows. So I'm working my way just up the stocking stitch now, and this yarn again is Juliana's Fibre. And it's her Lucky Star. It's a Lucky Star sock yarn with sparkles. You probably can't see the sparkles there, but there's lots. And the colourway is Above the Clouds. Is that right, Juliana? I think that's right. So this is kind of just it's the only project I've got really on the go that is out and about kind of knitting, so this just sort of sits there, and whenever I need something like this just comes out with me. So that's that one, and I'm using I think I've said this before, but I'm using Knit Pro Novas for this, and I love them actually. They're a very good price, Knit Pro Novas, and the tips are really nice, and the join is lovely. You know, I'm not having any issues with the join. I don't know what you're laughing at now.
I'm sorry.
What are you laughing at? Just carry on.
Yeah.
Right, let's carry on, everybody, and ignore the laughing fool in the background.
That's what they've been doing for the last 23 episodes.
That's absolutely true. So, and it's lovely and soft. I'm hoping I'll wear it. I mean, it is, us British people are very kind of, I don't know, a bit more reserved maybe, and is it too...
It's perfect for Bryony.
I mean, Bryony will wear it, but I don't know. I think I could pull it off. We'll have to see when it actually matches my headband. Look at that. I've got...
You should definitely pull it off.
Oh, gosh. It's actually one of Bryony's headbands I've got in today. And when she saw her put it on this morning, because she had to go and get one and wear a headband for school, did you hear? She went, I might want to wear a headband today, Mummy. I thought she was going to get me to take this one out, but she found another one, luckily. So that's my first project.
And you're now about to launch into another, aren't you?
Well, I might as well.
Why?
I think.
24 episodes in. I have copious projects on the needles.
Right.
Okay,
so are you ready? I get to ask you.
Yes.
Dan Jones. What?
Dan Jones.
Who's that?
Who's that?
It's me, Knitting Den.
Oh, have you got a question?
What's on your needles?
That's amazing. Oh, Knitting Den. From the Knitting Den podcast.
Denise.
She's got me back for all the times I've been ribbing her.
I know, and that is many.
She wants to know what's on my needles. So, what is on my needles? Thanks so much for that, Denise. That was so cool. I love the fingers at the end.
Yeah, she went.
Yeah. I love that. It's a Bankhead.
Ha! You knew he couldn't go very long, could you, without having one on the go?
And thank you, Susie, for the lovely message you sent that hopefully everyone caught at the start of the episode. Susie sent us a message and I got very excited about it.
She did.
So this is a Bankhead hat with a proper twisted rib.
So there you go.
There it is.
Yay.
And it is with some Pondant fibre hand-spun yarn.
Yes, it's your dealer.
It is the only yarn that should be used for Bankhead.
Deb's handspun.
Yes. They should do a kit.
Should.
With the pattern and the needles, because these needles are brilliant. These needles are Knit Pro.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wooden ones.
Yeah, you won't know the name of them. It's Knit Pro Symphonies, we call them. I think they're harmonies, aren't they, in the US? I think that's right.
They're very nice.
Yeah, you like the wooden ones, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
And the yarn, where's your ball? And that is correct. Just the one, Mrs. Wembley.
It's in the hospital.
Well, yeah, I know.
It's probably in a bin now.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that, honey.
No.
I thought it's been incinerated.
No. I signed it away.
You signed it away?
They were doing they got me once when I was going in and they said, would I be happy to be used as a exploratory test case?
Wow.
So it's been taken away and they're going to look at genetics and all sorts with it.
That's
And then
good
they will,
to know.
they're going to send the result. They're not going to send it back, don't worry.
Just send it back. Oh.
Tell me about my ball.
You're a horror. Here it is. Here's the yarn. Oh, look at that. Isn't it pretty? It's like blues and kind of a sort of an apricot-y colour. Is that about right, Deb, would you say? But it's really pretty, isn't it? Look at that. And it is...
Beautiful, that's what it is.
It's merino, Wensleydale and silk. And there's the colourway name, Living Thing. No, it's Living Doll is the song.
Got myself.
Yeah, I know. That's right. I got a bit of cliff going on in my head then. 174 metres, and it does look kind of worstedy weight to me. So we're going with a Bankhead. We're sure it'll work out beautifully. And it's lovely and light. It's super light. I think that must be I think Wensleydale's quite it's lofty, isn't it? Is that right? Spinners out there? I don't really know what I'm talking about, but it's very light, you know.
Hello. I'm Lofty from Bob the Builder.
Oh, what are you on about?
Do you remember?
Yeah, Lofty.
Oh yeah, well thanks Bob. Who's seen Bob the Builder?
Bob the Builder.
We used to watch it all the time.
We did, and Bryony still enjoys it.
It's so great. The films. Actually,
the films are
if you're talking about, we never spoke about. A great Christmas film is Bob's Christmas.
Is it just, it's not called that?
A Christmas to Remember.
A Christmas to Remember.
Really good.
Fantastic.
Really, really, really good. Get it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. We love it, don't we?
Okay, now I get to ask you.
Now you get to ask me.
Kay Jones.
Who was that? It was Sam from Come Knit With Us.
What's on your needles?
What's on your needles? That's amazing. Oh, thanks, Sam. See you soon.
We love Sam and Kim.
Yay.
Aww. That was so sweet. I love your fairy lights.
They're so lovely, aren't they?
I want fairy lights.
We need fairy lights.
Twinkle lights. I always call them twinkle lights. Dan always ribs me for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at Christmas saying, we've got the twinkle lights. It's like,
what a twinkle light. No, I don't really rib you for that.
Well, you do. You always kind of have a little go. Right, what's next?
Who are you? Jed Bartlett? Remember I always said that. What's next?
What's next?
Mrs. Landingham.
Yeah. Mrs. Lenningham.
Landingham.
Was it Landingham?
I think so.
Was it?
Well,
no, it can't have been.
Well, a million people will now
on the West
message
Wing.
us
What was
us.
it? Was it Mrs. Lenningham? I thought it was Lenning, but it's the accent, isn't it? It's the American accent.
I thought it was Landingham.
Landingham. That's an odd name, though. I would have thought Lenningham. I don't know. Anyway, you know who we mean. What's next? Right. I will just mention this briefly. I can't show you this, but I wanted to show you the bag. You will probably all know that Little Skein in the Big Wool did a kit recently for Little House in the Big Woods, Laura Ingalls Wilder. Well, I nearly combusted because you all know how much I love that series of books. And she put out kits where you could buy the pattern. I'm telling you all, and you will all know this, but the pattern, there was a shawl pattern by Susan B. Anderson, and there was some plucky knitter yarn that you could get as well. You could get a choice of bags, wedges or drawstrings, and then there was extra little bits of other things as well, stitch markers and things. So I'd put an alarm on my on my phones and everything because I didn't want to miss this update. And you could see the kit choices like the day before. You could have a look so that you could be kind of ready just to press the button. And I did lots of debating over this because the issue, unfortunately, that we have, that I've mentioned before, living in this country, is that you do get stung for import taxes. And
boy, do you get stung. Oh
gosh, honestly, and the shipping cost is obviously quite high just because, that's nobody's fault. It just is that. So I had to factor all that in. And because the kit, I can't remember exactly how much the full kit was, but if I'd have then added on, shipping costs plus the import tax, it made it just really out of a reality of what I was comfortable paying. The thing I really wanted a bag because I loved the fabric. I'll show you again. Look, it's got the little house, and can you see that? Look, there's little yarn balls coming out of the chimney for the smoke, and it's got her bonnet and everything. And you could have your choice of internal fabric. I chose a fabric that's got little bonnets on and wheat, and then I went for a burgundy base. And she puts little I don't know what you call that. What? It's not a carabiner, is it? It's just like a little thing you can clip your stitch markers to, or whatever you want, really. And it's got a little joy written on it. And I love it. It's beautifully made. It really is. The fabric is gorgeous. It's like a heavier weight. I mean, it might be a cotton linen blend, or it might just be a cotton. It's really beautifully made. I absolutely love it. So in the end, I decided just to go for the drawstring bag. I mean, I still had to pay import tax of like £12.
No!
Well, it's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? That's the minimum you will ever have to pay. If it's over, I think it's $30 is the limit, because this was $32. So I've got a feeling it's $30 and above that you pay that. But anyway, I got it and I love it, and I'm really pleased I got it. But I'm kind of designing something in here, so I don't want to obviously show you, because I haven't even knit one of them yet, so I don't even know if it's going to work. But I wanted to show you the bag, and I wanted to show you the needles I'm using. I'm using my Addy Lace interchangeables. I really love these. I've never mentioned, I don't think, these needles before, and I don't hear, when I hear people talking about interchangeables, I don't hear these ones mentioned too often. And the difference with these, it's the Addy Lace Click. The difference is, instead of being screwed in and you having to tighten it up, they're just clicked in. So you just push it on and it turns and clicks in. And it does, because of that, it does leave a little, can you see there's like a jump here where it clicks in. That never bothers me when I'm knitting. I mean, you can feel it, but it's kind of like a smooth, there's no rough edges on it. And like I say, I'm knitting this project on there, and I really like them. So I just wanted to say, and I'm knitting this one on 3.75 mils. So I'll talk about that at some point in the future. Can I say it properly now?
Well, I don't know. People keep butting in and surprising us, which has been amazing. Just try, see what happens.
Dan Jones?
Yes.
What's on your needles?
You got it. That's the first time anyone has got to say it of the presenters of said podcast in the Podcasterversary episode. That's amazing.
I have no idea what you just said.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
but it was fun. So what's on my needles?
Yeah. What's on my needles?
Yeah, sorry. I've been drinking water. It's some socks.
Yay.
Oh, well, some socks. A sock.
Had you finished the other one last time? I don't
No.
think you had. Oh.
That's off my needles.
No, so you're waiting for off your needles to show that?
Yes.
Oh, gosh, I think he's cheating with that, don't you, everybody?
There is the sock.
Tiny little sock.
The yarn is.
You should know.
Oh, that's an interesting name for a colourway. What's the yarn?
It's West Yorkshire Spinners, and I'll tell you something about that in a second. West Yorkshire Spinners Air Valley DK in the rainbow colourway. I got a email from Deramores the other day, and anybody else might have heard this, but Deramores, who are an online knitting store here in the UK, have started stocking West Yorkshire Spinners, and you can get that yarn.
Amazing.
I didn't check to see if that colourway was there, but I saw Air Valley DK on the list. So that's fantastic. I mean, I ordered directly from their website now, so you can do it from Deramores. So
I'm using Knit Pro Symphonies.
Yes.
Come on.
Do you know what size they are, though?
They are 2.5.
No, they're not. You would never knit with 2.5 mils. If I gave you that.
They are 4.5.
No, they're not.
What size are they?
3.25.
Oh, okay. So.
And I wish I'd given you 3.5 mils.
I was just clutching at straws.
Clearly.
I was guessing.
You should try and knit on this.
Who can remember
with fingering weights
what I was knitting on the very first podcast?
I can't.
I was knitting on your West Yorkshire Spinners.
Oh, God.
Pheasant, is it? No, it's wood pigeon.
Oh, I wear those all the time.
Sockies.
Sockies?
Socks.
Right.
Socky socks.
And I wear them all. They're my bedtime socks. I wear them with my pyjamas.
Aren't they the stairfall socks?
Yeah. I had those on when I fell downstairs. So, right, where were we?
We're on What's on Your Needles, and I'm going to try and ask you. I'm going to see if anyone's going to beat me to it. So, Kay Jones, first time I got to touch your leg this episode. It's great. What's on your needles?
Next up, and I love
What's
this
on your
table because
Podcasterversary needles?
I've just got everything here. It's lovely. It's such a nice... the next thing is my sock yarn blanket.
Oh,
Why do you say it like that?
I was just getting in with it.
Oh, right.
There's no zipper pull on there.
There's no zipper pull on there?
No.
That? Oh, no, there isn't, because I just made this for me and I didn't bother. Because I don't matter, really.
I should make you a zipper pull.
No, this is in one of my huge... I made this ages and ages ago, actually. So, yes, this is my mitered square sock yarn blanket. And a couple of people on Instagram have asked me a couple of questions about this recently, and it may be that they don't watch the podcast, so I've done quite a bit on this actually since you last saw it. Again, I've no clue where I was, but I am 3 squares short of finishing that 4th row, so I've done 97 then, because that'll be 100, won't it? So last night I did those 3 last night. This one is yarn from Nicole C. Mendez. The blue one is Juliana's Fibre. I say mini skein, it was like a 20 gram humongous mini skein. And then this middle one I think is one of the ones from that Lee sent me. Luli, I think she did tell me the make of that. You did tell me, Lee, and I can't remember now off the top of my head. Fable, was it a Drops Fable? I think that one. And then I will have done some of these probably as well, these top row since I last saw you. That one again is from Lee. I think that's an opal. Oh, I'm pointing to... No, I'm not pointing to the wrong one. That one I think is an opal. That one is a Wendy Rome, I think.
I thought you say Wendy Rose.
Wendy Rose, yeah. That one is from... I think that's from... Kasnitz. Is it Carol? I'm not sure now. I said that, I could be wrong. That was from some socks that I knit myself. Gosh, it must have been my first pair of socks I knit for me. It's the Buddy the Elf colourway. That one again might have been from Lee or Carol. I can't fully remember. That one is the Brax Candy colourway. I'm trying to remember the name of the yarn manufacturer, and you're all shouting it at me, aren't you? I know Lorraine's knit some socks in that. I haven't knit socks with it yet, and I really want to. I just love the colour. So the couple of questions I got asked was how many stitches am I casting on, and I cast on 31. I'm using 2.5mm, just a pair of Carbon's DPNs for them, so 2.5mm, and I started, because mine's straight, I know a lot, the Shelley Kang one goes, you get like a little edge like that, don't you? You all know what I mean. I wanted straightness, I wanted a bit more order, because I thought at the end of it, what do? Do you have to fill in those little half triangles? Or do you just leave it with an edge like that? And that, I don't know, that would bug the sort of OCD-ness in me, having that kind of jaggedy edge, that, you know what I mean. So I started down here. That was the first square, that pinky one down there in the corner. And then I did 4, I think, actually. I did those 4. So for example, when you... Oh, where's my thing gone? There it is. So this next one that I do, what I will do is I pick up 15 stitches along this edge here. So I go in between, you might not be able to see, but in between the garter ridges. So can you see all those garter ridges? That's better, look. And if you look in between your garter bumps on the edge, you'll see there's the row of stitches. There you go, in between. And I put my needle, I'll do my best, right. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but you kind of get the idea. So I pick up 15 stitches along that edge. I then pick up 1 stitch in this corner here on this green, on this one it'll be this green section, and I go there. Again, I'll stick my needle in, you probably can't see, but basically I just pick one up that follows the line of the Oh, this is so tricky because everything's backwards.
This is a slick section.
Look, right, there. Can you see the line of the decreases there? I'll pick up a stitch. It's like you're drunk when you're trying to do this. There. Can you see where my needle is? The tip of my needle, I pick one up there. And then I go along the other square and pick up another 15 to the end. And that's my 31 again, and then you just do your square. Now by doing it that way, picking up the stitches the way that I do, because I don't slip a stitch on the edge here, I don't slip a stitch. You do get, I'll show you the back, you do get these little ridges, can you see? But I like that. I think it gives a nice, it doesn't look, I don't think it looks, ignore all the ends, but I don't think it looks untidy at all. And I have woven in my ends pretty much. I weave them in for the row kind of below. And that's the last one I did. What I do is I tie the two ends that meet in a corner, I knot them, and that's the other thing I do. If you knot them and give it a little tug, it tightens up that corner. And I think that's another thing, because somebody said, how do you get them to be so neat? I have no idea. But that is the other thing that I do. If you tie a knot, give it a really, nice little tug, and you'll feel it snugging up. And then I'll weave in my ends, into the relevant colour. So that's like the back. I'll show you the back. Oh, it's all going pear-shaped. I'm dropping DPNs now. DPN down. So there's the back. But, a couple of people had asked me about it. So anyway, that's my attempt to, and there's the other DPN. So I hope that's helpful. I really feel like it totally is not helpful, one tiny bit. But there it is. And I absolutely love doing this. And to be honest, most evenings, I kind of haven't had the brain power just lately to work on anything else. So I've just been doing like a couple of squares while we watch Time Team. We're like grannies, us, aren't we? Dan Jones?
Yes.
What's on your needle?
You got away with another one. Amazing. Maybe we're safe now. Who knows? It's and there'll be a Handbrake update later on in the show. It's the Handbrake scarf, and look,
it's really long now.
Look at it grow. Look at it go. It nearly takes up. Can we even get it all on one screen? We'll have to go landscape.
And it needs blocking, of course.
Look at that.
You're doing super well on it.
Oh no, my way.
It's going to look so nice because obviously that garter edge is just curling over a bit. But
beautiful.
You can see the pattern there, look.
Once you get in the groove with this, it's good fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's really nice. You shouldn't give this away. You should keep it,
Well, I'll just see. I'll see how I go. I do like a cowl.
I don't think you should give it away. I think you should keep it.
I do like a cowl, but what?
Well, that stitch is off there.
Oh, whoops. Well, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Look, can you see that one there?
Yeah, deliberately imperfect. How is that one off and the other's not?
No, how strange.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
But there again, I am the man who managed to knit short rows on that. That was epic.
Don't even start.
How did I manage that? You were like looking at it going, what? How have you even done this? So this is the Handbrake scarf from the Handbrake cowl pattern from the Handbrake on Cancer campaign.
Gosh.
There's a lot of information to get out there. I had to get my brain in order.
Yeah.
And I'm not even halfway through yet, but it's good fun.
Okay. So this is the last thing.
Is it your last? What's
in that one? I've no idea.
Hold on, I've got another what's on my needles.
Oh, that's going on my needles at some point. So
it's not what's on your needles.
It's not on my needles yet.
But do you have something else? What's on your needles? And I have one more thing.
Oh, cool.
Go back and look at all the episodes and find out if ever there's been a time where we have had equal.
We haven't got equal. I've got more than you.
Projects. How is that possible? Because
how many have you got?
All I know is this. I'm asking you what's on your needles.
You've got 4.
All I know is this. We have been going backwards and forwards with what's on your needles.
Right.
I'm about to ask you, and then you have got to ask me, because I have something else too.
Right, but you've not done anything on that.
Oh, she has to get that in, doesn't she?
Right.
What's on your hook?
Thank you.
What's on your hook?
I mentioned a while ago, I can't remember when, that Bryony's school teacher is having a baby. And I thought about...
I hope she doesn't watch, otherwise she'll know the surprise.
I think it's highly unlikely. And I thought I might do a baby blanket for her. And then after I said that, I thought, oh gosh, I don't know if I want to do that. But recently, she's really huge, and with baby, I mean. And Bryony, apparently, she's told Bryony's class that she's due in the summer. And that to us would mean, and we haven't been told that she's leaving earlier than the end of term, and Bryony breaks up on about the 20th, I think, of July,
What
something
a
like
considerate
that.
pregnancy.
Hey, so you think it's a boy?
Yes.
Right.
Because it's not on the hips, it's all at the front.
It's, it's a good, she's got to be, she looks kind of 7 months, got to be. And it's now May, June, July. See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's due before then. But in any case, that's a long story to tell you that I'd actually started crocheting a blanket. And I'm using the King Cole bamboo cotton that I used for my log cabin, because I had loads left, and it's a lovely yarn for a baby. I'll just bring out one of the... It's so lovely and soft, and Tilly loves crocheting with this as well. So I am using a 4mm hook with a load of colours that I just chose that I thought were neutral, because we don't know what it is. And I started crocheting a ripple blanket, and I've got quite far actually. I'll hold it up. Here we go. So this is where I'm up to. That's, you can see the width. And I'm up to there. That's pretty good, isn't it? I'm doing pretty well. And I'm using a random stripe generator. How cool is that?
Yes.
I can't remember the name of the website it was on, but if you just Google random stripe generator, I think the website it took me to was something like biscuitsandjam.co.uk, something like that. It was the first one that came up when I googled random stripe generator. And what you do is it gives you like a little grid, and you click all the colours, so just the nearest one to like the range of colours that you've got, and then it produces a random stripe for you, and you can keep like clicking like refresh to get different ones. So I just kept going until I saw one that I thought, oh yeah, I like that one, because sometimes it's like it'd be blue dominated, sometimes it be green dominated. It just depends on what you wanted. So that's where I'm up to. And it's the ripple pattern from Attic 24 by Lucy that I'm using. I have done this one before. And I've started weaving in my ends as well. Normally what I do when I crochet is I crochet those ends in as I go. Do you know where you just run them along and then crochet over as you go? But when you do that, you can see the ends, do you know, and it's 2 colours, so you can see the ends through them. So I thought, because this is a gift, I want it to look, proper. So I'm actually weaving them in. Proper. I'm actually weaving them in, properly, as I say. And these are the ends here that I've not trimmed yet. I'll wait till I've washed it. And I think that's pretty good. I don't think you can really see those ends, can you? That's pretty good going. So what I'll do when I've finished it... Why are you staring at me?
I'm listening.
Oh. What I'll do when I've finished it is I'll straighten off the ripples. Again, I think Lucy's got a tutorial for straightening those ripples. And then I'll just do like treble crochets down here just to finish it off. I'm not going to put any picots or anything like that on it, because I think that's maybe a little bit girly, putting a picot edge on it. So I want to get this done for the end of this term that's coming up, and Bryony breaks up on the 22nd or 23rd. Is my birthday on a Monday or a Sunday? I forget. It's towards the end of May she breaks up, so I thought if I can finish it for then and give it to her, then I'm covering my bases for if she is further on than we think. So yeah, I reckon I've got maybe another third of it to go. I think that's about 2/3 length, do you think? And I think the colours are okay for a girl or a boy. I hope so. So yeah. So I'm trying to do like 2 stripes a day, saying that I didn't do any yesterday, so I do need to do 2 stripes today. It takes me about 20 minutes to do those, like to do 1 colour. So it's perfectly possible. So that's that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's me.
Dan Jones?
Yes.
What's the last thing on your needles?
It is. It's the Melina shawl. Now, it's not very often that I choose patterns by how attractive the designer is, but in this case I decided that I would knit this because the designer is so unbelievably beautiful. Sorry.
Pay him later.
Yeah, it's great. I've not got too far. I actually haven't done anything.
Because it's apparently my fault, because it's my responsibility to say, right, let's do that.
I asked you once and you said you were too tired.
I
And
know.
I felt
well, we need
bad.
to do it during the day if we can at some point. I'm struggling, aren't I, today? I really am.
There'll be a job advert at the end of this podcast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there'll be
new presenter required.
Advertising for a new Kay Jones. Oh, there we go. Look.
We have a new Kay Jones. She's in America.
Oh, yeah, Kim.
And she was the first person to ask you, what's on your needles?
Kim, can you pop over and be me for a couple of episodes? Because clearly I've lost the ability to do anything.
And you could go and be...
We could swap.
Exchange.
How funny would that be? I'd have to do the whole yarn down and sippies and...
Yeah. You could do that.
I could do that.
You could do that.
What do you think, me and Sam for an episode and Kim and Dan for an episode? That'd be fun, wouldn't it? So Dan is using, when it actually... Oh, excuse me. Well, you keep throwing your yarn on the floor.
Yarn bomb.
This is the Wensleydale long wool.
Oh, that's great.
It's lovely yarn. And I just sent some to the winner. Thank you, everybody, for the knit-alongs. They obviously ended at the end of April, and rather than hang on till now, I decided just to post the winners in a thread. And the person who won the Wensleydale long wool, if you remember, was Sword of a Knitter.
Oh, yes. How cool.
I was so thrilled when that came up on the random
So was
number.
he.
I was like, oh.
He said he'd never won anything before.
No,
in his
I
life.
know. And a few people, the winners said, oh, I've never won anything. So that's lovely. So that all the prices have gone out, so they're on their way. But this is the Wensleydale long wool. And I think this was something like Storm, the colourway, wasn't it? It's just a grey, blue.
Yeah.
It's lovely. So I will show him what he's doing with that.
Thanks.
And I might need to change those needles because I don't think you like those. I think you've used them before and said you didn't like them. They're Knit Pros.
I'm not convinced I have used these before.
Oh, right, okay. They're wooden.
I think they look like something I've used before, but I don't recall that feel.
Oh, right, okay.
So
we'll give them a go.
I think they might be right.
Yeah.
That's all the Podcasterversary. What's on your needles?
Hang on, what's those? Oh, my goodness. I've totally forgotten something.
Okay.
Shall I just show this quickly?
So have I. I forgot something too. Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
I'm so sorry. It's because I put the bag behind, bags here and bags there. Right. This is a sort of carry-on of my love of Little House in the Bigger Woods that I mentioned. And I've had this pattern for a while. Somebody kindly gifted it to me last year, and I cannot for the life of me remember who gifted me this pattern. So if it was you, I know I would have thanked the person at the time. So if it was you, thank you so much. But I am knitting a little doll. I'm knitting I'm making it into a Laura doll. I'm pretending it's a Laura doll. And I don't think I printed the front page of the pattern, but I'll tell you what it is. I'll show you one of the little pictures. That's the kind of naked doll. It's a pattern by the lovely Susan B. Anderson. And it's 3 dolls' names, and I think it's like Molly, Mary and Morgan, I think. It's on my... No, it's not on my project page. I need to give it a project page. Oh gosh, this is terrible, isn't it? But that's the little naked doll, and she has clothes, and she has a dress and a cardigan and a shawl. So, when I saw that this little doll had this shawl, and there's some of the clothes. Look, I'll show you so that it's not showing any of the pattern, obviously. So look, we have a shawl and little cardigans It's so cute. So I thought, right, I've got to knit this for Bryony and make it a little Laura doll. It calls for sport weight yarn, which is always an issue in this country because we don't really do sport weight yarn. I started it in a DK weight and it was just coming up too big. It wouldn't have mattered. It would have just meant it was a bigger doll, but I wanted it that kind of small, cute size. So I'm now using Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino that I've got in various different colours. And this it says it's a baby yarn, and I think it's kind of a sport weight. It's not quite a DK, so I'm going with this. And so far I've done the little shawl. Look at that. How cute. And I've just finished the little cardigan. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And I'm going to be using these little heart buttons that was sent with my order from the Wool Barn from Maya. So little heart buttons will be going on there because I thought the wood sort of went in with the, little house theme. I'm trying to use kind of natural colours. Maybe, if you imagine wool being dyed with beetroot and things like that, I'm trying to use those natural colours. But then, of course, Bryony wanted a red dress because Laura always wears a red dress quite often. In the book, when you're reading it, she'll have a red dress on because she's got brown hair. And so they put her in red because that looks nice. That's her brown for her hair. So I've got all the colours in there. So I'll just be working my way through that little doll. I thought I'd do the clothes first because then as soon as the doll's finished, it's finished, rather than do the doll and it sit without any clothes on and Bryony can't play with it till I've knit the clothes. So I'm going to do the dress next and then the doll. So I'm hoping I'll have that done for next time.
We just need to ask someone very special, Podcasterversary, what's on your needles? What we need to do, I was trying to do it before we started. I wanted to go back to see who the very first person was, and I just I couldn't find it quick enough. So please, someone, if you were the first person,
I can't remember what episode.
Come tell us.
Doing that.
I think it was episode 2, or it might be 3.
Gosh, I didn't know it was that early.
Or maybe it's 4. I'm lost now.
Yeah.
But if you were the first person, if you remember, please tell us. If you have just watched the episodes and please tell us. Otherwise, we will trawl through and find who it was. So this is very special because this is
very special.
The Podcasterversary, 1 year on. What's on your needles?
Most people call it a podiversary.
Well, we don't. We also don't have whips or FOs.
True.
So it's a podcastiversary. Okay. That's the end of it. End of.
So what's off your needles is a very special lady, and I think she'll be super excited when I say her name. This is someone that we met for the first time, didn't we, last year?
Yes.
She's a very good friend of someone very close to us.
I wouldn't say that. No, I'm joking.
She is. And us meeting her and talking to her, I think sort of got her to pick up her needles again, and she's been knitting like a demon ever since, hasn't she?
And she's knit.
How many Bankheads?
More Bankheads than me.
She has.
She's knit so many Bankheads. The amazing Susie Gorley sent us something lovely.
Yeah, she did.
So who is it?
So are you ready? You know who it is. It's Jackie. Yay!
What's on your needles?
Jackie in Somerset. One of Dan's mum's best friends.
So you need to go over to the forum and you need to post in the What's on Your Needles thread.
What's on your needles, Jackie?
What's on your needles?
Show us Bankhead number, whatever is it is. Is it? But I think she said she might do a handbrake, did she?
She's also on Instagram.
She is on Instagram.
So look her up, follow and like all her pictures.
She doesn't go on there very often, I don't think.
Let's make her.
She's more of a Facebook girl, I think, Jackie, isn't she?
I think she's fairly across the board.
I know she likes all of my pictures, so I think she's like a, what's the word?
Hip.
Doesn't post very often, but he's on there a lot, just looking at friends and things.
She's on it.
Yeah. Yay, Jackie.
I want to go back to Mount Grace Priory.
Oh, yeah.
And find out what happened after the monastery was dissolved. Of course, it's not a monastery.
No, it's a priory, isn't it?
Yeah, well, actually, it wasn't even called a priory. It was called a charter house.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, shall we... it was a nice day, wasn't it?
It was lovely.
Yeah, good weather. It's just a shame that the table next door
gosh, can you see the people in the background?
Oh, you may not be able to actually.
I think you can.
Well,
I watched that little bit back that we recorded.
I haven't seen.
Oh, have you not?
No.
There is a lunatic in the background that keeps coming into the shot. He obviously doesn't know what we're doing.
I'm as childish as the next guy, but there was a guy with a beard running around.
I think he was actually like an older teenager,
okay.
because they all have these beards these days, don't they? Please, what is that all about? I'm really sorry, but
it's fashion.
I completely accept, people that have always had beards.
Yes.
Absolutely fine, but this trend for young teenagers to grow these massive long.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't do it for me.
So let's go back and find out what happened, and I think we should get a cake. And when we come back, shall we all sing Happy Birthday? Led by someone. Welcome back to Favourite Places to Knit, Part 2. I've been really enjoying today's show, I must say. What?
Nothing.
All of the little surprises along the way.
Wow.
It has been fun.
Right, yeah.
How little she knows and how much you all know. It's so funny. So we're back, and we're back now to pick up the story after the dissolution of the monastery. So what happened to it? Now, it is different to Eggleston, because Eggleston, as we found out, the roof was off and it was a ruin, a complete ruin, whereas here at Mount Grace, whilst we've seen a beautiful ruin, it's actually also a really beautiful house. And speaking of beautiful houses, just over there, if you have enjoyed today's favourite places to knit, you can come and stay here, can't you?
You can, yeah, there's a little holiday cottage, we can see it right there, and I've looked at it online. Is it an English Heritage one we're staying in? Oh,
well, it's owned, the site is owned by the National Trust, but it's managed by English Heritage.
Right, but all the cottages that they rent out, they're all beautiful inside, so I suspect it's really lovely inside. The only issue is people walk past the window constantly because it's right in the grounds. And I just think, I might find that a bit annoying, because I'm kind of tempted to walk over and look in the window and see what it's like inside. And I suspect people do that. But I'm sure it's very lovely.
I have a question for you, Kay.
Yeah.
What is the arts and crafts style?
What is it?
Yes.
Well, it's the whole William Morris kind of era, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, it's it's quite simple. Fairly clean lines, I would say. Natural woods, and that whole William Morris.
We're going to find out all about
kind of floral motifs and things like that. I'm probably completely wrong.
Well, we're going to find out, because the house that we're going to go and take you to look around now, as we discover the history of Mount Grace after the dissolution, is in the arts and crafts style, so I'm told, which was done in the 1700s. And then what is so fortunate here at Mount Grace is it was bought by an industrialist. Now, this was a big industrial area in the 1800s, the 1900s. We're very, very close to the steelworks at Redcar, and also the ports at Redcar, Middlesbrough, so it's very easy for people to produce steel and do industrial type things and then get it out to sea really quick. So you had lots and lots of really wealthy people living around here, one of which we're going to talk about in a minute or two. That's Isaac Lothian Bell. What a great name. He bought Mount Grace in 1894, and he made it his family home, and it stayed in his family until 1954, and that's the reason why the roof is still on, and it still looks as good as it does. So let's go and find out about Mount Grace after the dissolution. Mount Grace Priory was one of the last monasteries to be suppressed in 1539. After initially causing some tension, with monks being imprisoned in 1534 for refusing to take the oath of supremacy, they became much more amenable, with their last prior handing over the keys to the King's Commissioners Leighton and Lay in 1539. By the 1600s, Mount Grace had become the home of the Darcy family. Isn't that exciting?
Mr. Darcy?
And do you see who's butted in now?
I'm here.
As soon as you mentioned Mr. Darcy, she's
I'm on
interested.
I'm on it.
Unfortunately, it's Conyers Darcy.
Not the same one.
No, but we can believe.
We can. Wouldn't it be nice to think that?
Maybe it was based. So that what you're seeing now, that effectively became a garden. It was a garden and enjoyed and walked through and played in, but they needed obviously a house. So what they did was they took some of the main buildings that we've already just caught a glimpse of and they turned it into a house. But what we're seeing here actually is one bit that we've not shown you. And did you walk?
I did. I was there a minute ago.
Oh, I didn't realise that you'd actually walked down it.
We did.
This was obviously, this was a complete building with a wall on the left-hand side, a roof over the top. There's a door down there at the bottom that then takes you out into some of the fields that would have been used to grow the vegetables that the monks ate. And I saw a really beautiful butterfly. There it is.
Oh.
Look at that. Off it goes. Is that a cabbage white?
I think it probably is a cabbage white, yes.
And are they not good?
No,
Don't they eat your cabbages?
I think they lay their eggs on cabbages. I think that's
lovely.
why they're called a cabbage white. I believe. I'm really not a butterfly expert. But
We're not having cabbage for tea, are we?
I think no, we're not.
I don't fancy eating butterfly eggs.
No, not really. I do wash things though before I feed you.
Of course you do. So we're just taking a moment just to explore a little bit of the Abbey before we go and have a little look around the house. And this was the lay brothers area. So the lay brothers never saw the monks that lived within the cloister that we looked at in part 1. All the lay brothers, they lived down here, and we had kitchens and storerooms and stables and all sorts. And the lay brothers did go in for services. As I think I mentioned in part 1, there was a lay brothers choir that they would go into within the church. But it is just so, I mean, it was busy, but look, there's no one there.
No, it was very busy, but because it's very spread out, isn't it? So you do.
Look how high that was.
Yeah.
You don't really see, we certainly didn't see anything that high at Jervo or, I mean, Eggleston to an extent, actually.
It's quite, parts of it seem fairly complete, don't they? Although they're not, obviously, but you do get a very good feeling for how it was.
You can see here, there's 2 floors there.
Yeah.
See the first row of, I forget what they call those holes, but that's where you stick your beams in that you lay your floors on. And then look at that. I've never seen anything actually quite like that before, and it made me wonder. I need to check what that room was or what that building was. But you get a really good view as the camera swings back round of the whole estate. You've got the there you go, you can see the house that we explored in part 1, the cell. There's the church. It's actually blocked out by that huge tree. You can see it just behind, and there's the house that we're now going to go and explore. And the house, I think that was the guest house when it was the Priory, and that was the bit that was nearest the entrance. So this is the bit that was initially turned into a house by the Darcy family, and then over the course of time it passed into the hands of Sir Isaac Lothian Bell, who loved
arts and crafts.
Correct. And I didn't have a clue what arts and crafts was until we went in here.
I love that green colour.
Is that like a traditional arts and crafts?
Well, it must be, but when I was in there, I thought, oh, I love that colour.
It's really interesting because it doesn't, to me, I mean, so arts and crafts was around in the late 1800s, yeah? Or late 1900s.
Are you telling me that?
Well, it must have been.
I'm not entirely sure.
Because Sir Isaac Lothian Bell bought the house in 1898.
Right, yeah, that sounds right.
Right.
Turn of the century.
Yes, and his family, I mean, it looks very normal actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a very livable house. You can imagine just sitting down and, just living there.
It strikes me that this is the type of house that if the roof had stayed on at Eggleston, this is what it would have been like, I think.
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the rooms are normal size, and you get. It's not like some of the bigger ones where you know a normal person would never have lived in it. To call Sir Isaac Lothian Bell a normal person would not be right, though. He was a massive industrialist and maker of iron and steel and all sorts, and extremely wealthy chap. And here is his sitting room. That must have been a bell for a servant.
Must have been.
See them either side of the.
Yeah.
And then there's the wood. Oh, there he is.
That was scary. That.
Yeah.
It really made us jump.
Gave you and Bryony a shock, didn't it? And then it's the wallpaper that I just don't particularly like.
You didn't like it, no, but it's very. What's the word I'm looking for? What's his name?
Colourful.
No, what's the designer's name? William Morris.
Oh yes.
Totally went out of my head.
So he was the guy, was he? He was the guy who was doing all the designing back then?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is the sitting room, which you can you can't actually get into the main area of it. It's there she is.
There I am.
Hello. It's cordoned off, isn't it? So
you can't actually go. I mean, you walk sort of by the edge of the room, don't you?
Yeah. And then there is an upstairs as well that we're going to go and take a look at in just one moment. And here is the upstairs. And there was quite a few.
There was lots of reference books about arts and crafts and that kind of era, and people were just sat down, weren't they, reading them? But it did kind of make it awkward just to walk around and have a look because they were just all sat down.
Check out the fireplace. That's very
I
green.
love that. Yeah, that green colour. I love it. Fabulous.
You do see that. You get an enormous amount of programmes on the TV, don't you, about doing up houses? And I recall seeing fireplaces like that before, or certainly with a similar colour.
Must have been the fashion, I think.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see actually how this room was before English Heritage took it over, because it was a house and it was lived in until 1953. Now, every grand estate, and this certainly was a grand estate, needs a grand garden. So Sir Isaac Lothian Bell created a landscape garden. Now, it's certainly not the same as what we've seen at Chatsworth.
No.
But you can get an appreciation, I think, of what he's trying to do. There's lots of views, aren't there?
Yeah, it's a very pretty garden. We've never actually been down into the garden before, have we? I can't think why.
Whenever you turned around there and you look back at the house, there seemed to be another sort of framed every position.
Lots of vistas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. And I mean that what do they call that? That's
terracing.
Yeah, terracing. I'm not really a gardener, so I get a bit lost when it comes to things like that. But just so beautiful, the flowers, really well kept actually for an English heritage garden.
Beautifully kept, yeah.
And I love
little stream.
I love these little streams.
Yeah, look at that.
Those are cornflowers, are they?
I don't know. I don't think they're cornflowers. It's some kind of alpine, I think. There was lots and lots of alpines all around there.
I do like alpines, apart from the ones that...
All right, we don't talk about that one.
Beautiful sky.
It was a lovely day, yeah.
It really was.
It really was. It was kind of a bit chilly in the morning, but in the afternoon, as it was there, it really warmed up.
And that's just looking back. That's another one of the views back from further down the garden. Now, we had a good look around.
Look at the tulips.
Down there. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we saw a stoat.
I'm sure it would have been. I didn't see it, but from your description, I'm sure it would have been a stoat.
Now, was this a good enough favourite places to knit for our Podcasterversary?
I think so.
I think so too. I think it's pretty epic. And I think what's exciting about this is it even has Brionies. Hello, Briony. And can you believe that this time last year, no one knew, well, no one still knows who we are.
No.
But it just seems crazy that in the space of a year,
It does.
so many things have been born, like favourite places to knit.
Yeah.
This time last year, actually, favourite places to knit hadn't been born.
No.
It was the next episode.
It was the second episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the first place we visited was...
Dervo.
It was indeed.
Have I remembered that right?
You have remembered that right. So, yeah, we hope you've enjoyed this favourite places to knit. And now I think it's time...
And I am knitting.
She is, of course, because it is one of our favourite places to knit.
Yep.
And do you know what's good about this place is it is very busy, but it still feels...
It's much bigger than you actually think, and it is very busy. There's lots and lots of people around, but it does still feel peaceful. It's got that feeling that I've mentioned before.
And what is so interesting is on our next trip out to Revo Abbey, it has a very different feel, doesn't it?
Very different at Revo, yes.
And I found out the reason why.
Oh, right.
And
okay.
it plays in beautifully with the conversation that we had last episode, which was all about how different places make you feel and how what's gone on in those places make you feel. Revo Abbey is an abbey just like all the ones we've taken you to, but it has quite a dark
history. Really.
How interesting.
Look at that yarn in the sunlight. I don't know if you can see the yarn glinting in the sunlight, but it's really beautiful. Sorry, I was distracted by beautiful yarn.
Well, I think we can allow that. So it's time to go back to Kay and Dan in the studio. I did enjoy that. Wasn't that fun?
It was fun.
Always fun. Out and about with the Bakery Bears. It's time for happy birthday, I think. Don't you?
I do.
In this Podcasterversary. So we have someone to lead us.
We do.
And I expect everyone to stand.
It's not the national anthem.
I would like you to stand when she sings this.
I pledge allegiance.
And I would like you to sing along. And what I would very much like is for anyone who would like to take an Instagram 15-second video of them singing along with the happy birthday whilst watching the Bakery Bears and post it. That would be marvellous.
Goodness, that's complicated.
So
Right.
if you're on Instagram and you fancy taking a video of yourself singing happy birthday along with our special guest who's going to sing happy birthday for us, then please go for it. I think that would be super cool, don't you?
Yeah.
So shall we all rise for happy birthday?
Seriously, I've got to stand up.
Happy Podcasterversary to you. Happy Podcasterversary to you. Happy Podcasterversary, dear Dan and Kay. Happy Podcasterversary to you. From Jamie in Chicago.
Way! Jamie. Is it Jamie?
Jamie.
Yes, Jamie.
Ganji. I had to write it down, Jamie, because I kept getting it wrong. But you sang beautifully.
She said Jamie Gandhi. Jamie, how amazing is that? That's just...
Fantastic. You must sing professionally. You've got to, I think, with a voice like that.
I've got to say, Jamie, when that started, I panicked slightly, didn't I?
Did you?
Well, I did. Because...
I suppose, yeah, when you hear somebody singing.
No. I think when you're a musician, it just puts you in a tricky situation, because without you even... You just start analysing stuff. And it was great. Wasn't it great?
It was fantastic.
You better have sung along. If you didn't, you need to rewind and sing along. Thank you so much. But do you know what?
What?
I'm hungry.
Are you?
Yes. Do you have any baby bells?
Nope, not a one. It's alright.
Well, we've got a problem.
Baby bell free zone.
We're going to have to stop the podcast. I'm going to have to go get myself some baby bells, and we shall continue unless... At Christmas, we used a miracle to take ourselves to Italy, didn't we? And that was cool.
Nice.
We displayed our green screen skills. That was marvellous. I think, though, we can shout down the internet.
I think so.
And get Talia's attention on the Pen, Hook and Needles podcast. Because what do they always eat?
Talia always, not Marlisha doesn't.
No. So, shall we try shouting? You could all join in as well if you want. Talia!
There's the pearl. Oops, there we go. I want to show you this. See my pattern starting to come out. Uh-oh. I must not have been paying attention. Yeah. 1, 2.
Did she hear us?
I don't think she did. What was Marlisha knitting on?
Well, I think I know what it was.
Should we try shouting again? And maybe we'll get a better look at what she's knitting on. Talia!
Sections? I don't know. I'll have to check. It was hard for me to see in the round. I'll have to check it out later. It's kind of hard for me to see with this yarn. But I can see the pattern though, so that's good. That's good.
Oh, it's not working, but that was...
I think it was a handbrake. Is that right, Marlisha? Are you knitting a handbrake? I think you were counting pearl bumps.
Yay!
I could be wrong. Could be totally wrong.
I can only do one thing. I'll have to resort to using the force.
Yeah.
I shall have to talk to her using the force. So here we go.
What?
Got her.
Hold on. Stirring in the force. Strong. Jedi or Sith? Dan. Of who? Obi-Wan Knitter. Dan. Of the Bakery Bears? Yeah. What does he want? Yeah, what do you want, Dan?
Yes, I'd like a baby bell. And I think she heard me.
Yeah, we could totally do that. You want some baby bell? Let me see what I have here. Yeah, got one right here. Hold on. Gonna pass it on over to you.
Oh, thank you, Talia.
There it is.
Okay, you get it? Yeah, I think you got it. Okay.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
You saved us.
Yeah, totally saved us. Once, actually, I remember having spaghetti, and we had no cheese in.
So you grated a baby bell.
I peeled a baby bell and I grated it, and do you know what? It was really nice.
It would have melted though.
It was really nice. So this baby bell has come all the way from America.
What flavour is it?
It's Gouda.
Oh.
So let's give it a go. Let's see let's see if it is all it's cracked up to be. Last time I said that we had those chocolates, didn't we, instead of the baby bells, and that we were really cool because we had the chocolates in there. So now's the taste test. What's this like? Do you want to try it?
No.
Oh. You know what?
It's alright.
It's all right. And that's Emmentaler.
Right.
That's really nice, actually.
Nicer than the normal baby bells.
Yes.
Oh.
And also better than those low-fat ones that we tried once.
Oh, they were a bit grim, weren't
We
they?
threw those against the wall and it literally rebounded off. It was very impressive. So yeah, I think I may be a convert. Gouda baby bells. No. Okay, so it's time for me to ask a very special podcasterversary.
Kay Jones.
Who was that? Oh no, it's Tilly Trout.
It's Tilly.
Tilly, don't do it.
Don't do it, we don't want to.
Hello, you two. I thought I would just drop by and see if you fancied maybe a little bit of lemon curd, maybe?
Oh.
No.
And to ask, Kay Jones, your needles.
Oh, what's off your needles?
Oh, Tilly, that's so sweet.
Yay, thanks, Tilly.
All my friends this morning. Oh, I love Tilly. And whenever I say her name now as well, there's
you think of no.
There's a CBeebies program called Tilly and Friends. I think of that, and it's like the cute. I can't remember what Tilly is, what sort of creature Tilly is. I'll have to try and remember. But anyway, it's cute. So first thing off my needles is finish them.
Yes.
Finished the speckled socks of
They're nice.
doom. Oh, you've decided they're nice now.
Yes.
Can you believe him? Can you believe him?
Well, it's different, isn't it? When it's off the needles, you get to see actually, especially when they're on blockers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've washed them, and they, I think socks always look better for a wash, don't they?
Yeah.
Evens out all
Mine
your
do.
stitches and everything. So yeah, that's first pair finished off my needles. I haven't worn them yet actually, but I will keep these ones as like house socks because they did come out a bit big, as I said before. So that's the first. Ooh, really got dropsy today, haven't I? But that's
You've had dropsy the last 43 and 3/4 years.
That's not unusual, is it? Really, for me to drop something.
It's a shame we can't have that as a theme tune for this section. But unfortunately, we'd get flagged for copyright.
We would.
As we learnt with What's on Your Stereo.
Which is why we don't do that so much anymore.
Is it time for you to ask me?
Dan Jones.
It's Darren and Amy.
We just wanted to know what's off your needles.
Oh,
wow.
Darren.
That's amazing.
Bye, guys.
Thanks,
Happy
guys.
anniversary.
What's off my needles?
Oh,
Well, as you've asked me so amazingly,
that was so sweet.
I shall show you what's off my needles. Mr. Matt Franklin. Here is.
And I've washed that one too. I washed it in the hope that it would come out bigger, and it's okay actually. It does fit me.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
And
It looks cool actually, held up like that, doesn't it?
It's a cool sock.
Yeah.
I'm about that way through of the other one, so
yeah.
a bit to go. But they're a quick project, I think.
Let's just do this because I don't think we've put it on. They're very quick. I could knit one of these in a day, really.
Right.
If I set my mind to it, Oh, look, that's better. It always looks nicer on a blocker, doesn't it? The only thing with this pattern, somebody asked me about this actually, and I did say the heel that it gets you to do, it's like, I don't know the name of it, but it's a square heel. It comes out, do you know how normally they're like a little sort of triangle triangle.
A triangle.
Triangular shape. This one comes out square. And I do prefer the ones that are more triangle shaped. But, you know, it's fine. Look at that. That looks cool on a blocker. That's lovely, that, darling. Well done. Well done, that man.
So it is, we've already established on the podcast today that today is voting day in the UK. So
We have voted.
We have voted.
I said to Dan, you've got to tell me which box I need to tick, because I'll just panic when I get in there. And I'm
So what I actually did was I went down to the voting booth and I wrote in who I wanted to vote for.
Yep.
I stuck the knitting party.
We changed it.
I changed it and I stuck a little box and I put a cross there. And now it's time for a word from our leader.
Hello, Kay Jones.
It's Gail.
What's off your needles?
What's off your
It's
needles?
Gail, Gaily Whaley from the Yarniacs podcast. Happy Podcasterversary. You guys are awesome. I love
So are
watching
you.
you, Dan, and Bryony.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Gail.
Gaily Whaley.
I know. How amazing is that?
Love Gaily Whaley.
Gail, in case you want to see a real reaction, I will have stuck it in at the very beginning. So when she first heard that, that was the reaction.
I'm still recovering.
She is still recovering.
Dabbing eyes. Another pair of socks.
And Gail has asked you.
Oh, and Gail asked
Amazing.
me.
Did you ever think Gail would be asking you?
And this is a real sunshiny colour from somebody from this. It's not the Sunshine State, that's Florida, isn't it? But she lives in a very sunshiny state. Lovely California.
She lives in California?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
They are
Oh, no, she should say.
Oh no, she says all the
All right.
time. Oh gosh. I do know. Give me a minute and it'll come
Gail will
into my
tell me.
head. It'll come into my head in a minute, Gail. Because I've got loads of friends in California, so I'm trying to think. But while I'm thinking...
I wish they all could be California girls.
Look what I finished. 2 pairs of socks off the needles. And the colour's not coming up properly at all. It's a much more rich golden colour. This is the yarn that I dyed myself. Maybe if I hold it closer. No, it's very washed out on there. You can see the sparkles though, look. These are my blueberry... my Hermione waffle socks. I got that the wrong way around, because what I did was I'll just hold one up. I don't need to hold both of them. I look like a fool. I used the basic pattern from the Hermione's Everyday sock, lovely Erica, and I used her heel as well with the modified Eye of Partridge with the garter edge, but then I put in the blueberry waffle pattern, which I love, and I'm definitely going to do this again. And do you know what I've discovered? I mean, I like knitting just plain socks, but actually I knit them quicker if they've got a bit of something going on, and I know other people will know what I mean. But this is just a 4-row repeat, and I just, I'll say to myself, right, I'll sit down and I'll knit 4 repeats or whatever, and it just seems to go much quicker. It's a bit like striped socks, isn't it? Except the issue I have with striped socks is the whole heel turn and everything, and I know I could go from the other end and all those sorts of things, but I think I do, at the minute anyway, everybody's tastes change, don't they, but I do love more kind of semi-solids. So that's all finished, and that's the yarn that I dyed. I can't remember if I said that. So they're done, and I haven't worn those yet either. Again, I was waiting, and to be honest, I kind of want to put them on the wall. Look, I want to kind of put them on the wall.
Wow.
That's more the colour actually, isn't it? It looks much better because I just love them. They're just like the perfect socks, and they feel too nice to wear at the minute. And then somebody said, "Oh no, you've got to wear them," and I'm like, I might just keep them nice for a bit.
It's time to do What's Off Your Needles.
What's off your
needles? We need to ask someone a very special podcastiversary. What's off your needles?
This person, really, we had to ask this
She's
person.
a superstar.
Because of what she did and how monumental
She led
that little...
many people
in
in a song.
So what's off your needles, Jamie?
Jamie who?
Jamie Ganji.
Yeah.
Right. In Chicago. I think did she say she was in Chicago?
Yes, I think so.
I think so, yeah.
The Windy City.
Windy City.
Home of the NFL draft that's just passed.
Whenever I think of Chicago, I always think of Calamity Jane because me and Bryony love
Just got
Calamity
back from the Windy
Jane.
City.
And you know, Bryony's been really sweet. She's always sweet. But just lately, when she gets home from school, she's like, "Can we watch a DVD? Sorry. Can we watch a DVD, Mummy?" I said, "Yeah, of course we can. What do you want to watch?" And she's like, "Oh, shall we watch Poirot?" We love the Poirots that are Peter Ustinov.
4 words. Run home for Poirot.
Little Miranda, and then the other day she went, "Oh, should we watch Calamity Jane?" And she absolutely loves it. She knows all the songs and everything. So Chicago always makes me think of that.
So go over, please, to
Yes.
the What's Off Your Needles thread, and please show us what's off your needles. That would be amazing to see.
Yes.
It's time for...
Kay Jones.
Who's that? It's Xena.
Xena.
Princess Warrior. What does she want to know?
Princess of... No.
Power.
Princess is... I was going to say that, but then isn't that someone else who's princess?
Yeah, She-Ra.
She-Ra.
Yeah. What does Xena want to know?
What does Xena want to know?
What's on your bookshelf?
What's off your bookshelf?
What's off my bookshelf, Xena? Well, I've just finished that one that I spoke about a couple of times. Just finished it and I really, really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend it. It's fascinating. You know, I learned so much from it actually, and I just marked a page because I wanted to show you what a sheep
looks like.
What a sheep looks like, because as knitters we do not know what a sheep looks like. No, I wanted to show you a sheep that's worth £28,000.
That's out the back in the garden.
Yeah, we've got it. They sold this sheep. They're obviously sheep farmers, and this won a prize at I think it's the show in Hawes.
Gosh, the wool must cost more than that.
No, it's a boy sheep.
Kiviot.
Oh, that's Kiviot's not sheep.
No, I know, but it's a boy sheep. Can't you shear boy sheep?
I don't know that they do shear. Well, I don't see why not.
They still grow wool.
Well, yeah. I think is it normally? I have no idea.
I don't think so.
No. Isn't it girls' sheep that they shear? Do they shear?
Why would they not shear boy sheep?
Well, I don't know, because I always think boy sheep are just there to do the business, aren't they?
Are they? Maybe I'm wrong, but that would be crazy.
Well, this particular boy sheep, I think all those sheep are girls.
Right.
And that's clearly a
It's
boy.
a lady sheep.
Right. Anyway, they bred this particular sheep, and when it was born, they were like, "Oh, that's a prize winner, that." And when it came to the time for it to go off to market, they have like a show before the actual auction. This sheep of theirs, it's a boy sheep, and they call the boy sheeps tups, I believe, if I'm remembering rightly. This tup won the prize best in show, and then they sell them afterwards, and because it was best in show, it obviously raised this unbelievable price. There it is. It's called Glory. It's a handsome sheep, I have to say. And look at Clive there, so proud. £28,000 they got for that sheep. I was reading this in bed one night, and Dan had gone to sleep, and I was like, I nearly woke you up. I said I nearly woke him up to tell him.
Wow.
That's a good day, isn't it? And they sold its brother, which wasn't as good, and I think it did win a prize, but it was much lower down. They sold its brother for £6,000. So that day they came back with £34,000.
Not bad.
That's not bad.
That's a
is it?
good deal.
That's a good day. So I really enjoyed that book, and I would recommend it. Oh look, I've got to buy a 12-inch blue zip. It's gone. So yeah, definitely a good read. And then what's on my book? Shall I carry on? No, I won't.
No.
Right, okay. That was off. I need to say what I'm reading now, don't I? Do we do that all
Do we have
together?
2 sections now? What's on and what's off
I
your
don't
bookshelf?
know, I'm confused. Shall I just say what I'm reading?
It's just what... No, because we do 2, so it's my go now.
Alright,
That's hilarious. What's on and off your bookshelf? That's quite cool. I quite like that idea.
Hole in your sock.
Yeah, dear Liza, dear Liza.
It's not hand knit, thankfully.
No. So, it's time for what's off my bookshelf. Now, I actually know who sent this video in. and I feel that he needs an introduction. Now, I've been challenged many times before to sing on the podcast, and I've always refused. Now Jamie has raised the bar, and I feel that I can only respond in one way. So...
Nice drumming. Who's drumming?
Me.
High above the mucky muck castle made of clouds, there sits Wonder Boy, sitting oh so proudly. Nothing much to say, then you're high above the mucky muck. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wonder Boy, what is the secret of your...
Dan Jones!
Josh! Hey, dude!
What is on your bookshelf?
I love the picture in the background, by the way. What's off my bookshelf? Thank you so much for that, by the way. What a star.
Oh, I love Josh.
What is off my bookshelf, Josh? I shall tell you. Actually, the question from both of us is, what were you reading? What's off your bookshelf? That looked like Hamlet. Are you rehearsing for Hamlet?
Bryony's been reading that stuff. Oh, don't start me on the books that school sent home for Bryony.
Josh is a legend.
He is.
That Messalina, I mean, just...
The Messalina that Josh knit, if you haven't seen it, it's in the finished... It'll be on his Ravelry page, I would have thought, but it's on the finished objects thread in the Messalina knit along. Oh my gosh.
No.
He did a 2-colour version. It's fantastic.
I mean this in the most nice and respectful sense, but to me, he is a knitting Dark Lord of the Sith.
He is.
Do you get me? I don't mean you're evil, but he's on the edge, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
That's and do you know what? If he's a Dark Lord of the Sith, I think I know which side I fall on. I think I'm a Sith too. No, I'm somewhere in between. I'm a Sith and a Jedi. Speaking of Sith and Jedi, who saw the trailer? We've not put an episode out since the trailer. Underwhelmed initially, but then after analysis, I am no longer underwhelmed.
Right.
I'm excited. We've also nailed down what Kay's wearing.
Ah, for the past, yes.
She's wearing this. Nice.
Because that's doable. And the hair, Kimmy knits. Kermit Von Frog, the hair is just like slicked back, and I won't have a problem with that.
Makeup though.
Yeah, I mean, she's so beautiful. That woman is so beautiful.
There was Kermit Von Frog said you actually look a bit like her already. And I've said that since day one.
I wish. Gosh,
well, you do.
I don't.
It's the end of.
The boots are my only issue that I just need to think about, because she wears like, it's all white outfit obviously, but then she has these like cream coloured boots on. And I was thinking I might get some Uggs. I mean, that might work, might it?
Yeah, it would be like a crossover Hoff.
Yeah, that might work. And then she has this blanket thing. And again, I think I might just get a cream blanket and cut some sort of head hole in it and sew it and have like this.
If you stuck on a white gilet on that outfit...
Well, that'd look like Leia then,
with Hoff boots.
That'd look like Leia.
You could be 2 characters.
I could.
We're doing it. We're getting you a white gilet.
Well, maybe I'll do that
Hoff boots.
then.
And you are Princess Leia, and you are...
like a crossover.
You're Princess Leia,
I want to
Empire
have a
Strikes
belt
Back.
with a gun though.
No, totally.
I want to do that whole... Whatever she had,
Totally.
some sort of laser. Yeah. Anyway,
Josh
we
wants
digress.
to know what's off my bookshelf.
Oh, you'll be glad about that. That you finished
Well,
it.
I'm just about to finish it. I'm all confused. I've spoken about this a few times. I'll keep it short and sweet. It definitely is worth a read if you're into explorers and things like that. It gets better the further through you get. He's currently on like a climbing fest.
Oh, right.
So he's gone up Everest.
Climbing fest, he's gone up Everest.
Yes, he's failed a couple of times, and he's just about to have another go. But he's also climbed the Eiger, I think it's the Eiger Pass,
right,
which is like seriously dangerous. And I don't want to say the writing gets better, because I don't think it does. But the story, what's going on, is very interesting. Like, he's climbing the Eiger Pass, they go to sleep climbing up, and they just find a ledge. And he said the ledge was wide enough for 3 of us to lay down. So one head,
Right.
other head. And he said he slept, and his right arm if he'd rolled over, there was a lip there, but if he'd rolled over, he'd fall 4,500 feet straight down.
Gosh, he's an absolute fool, isn't he? What's it all about?
Also, telling you stories as well about. He doesn't just talk about himself. He talks about other people too. So he's talking about other climbers and some just unbelievable stories of amazingness. But then also, they talk about George Mallory, who was the first to climb Everest. Except I don't think he got there, did he? He fell.
Did he?
And he fell in the 20s, and they found his body in the 90s.
Oh my gosh!
He was
really?
frozen into the. But what he said was, when you climb up Everest, and who knows, there might be people watching who've done that. When you climb up Everest, you get to something called the dead zone, and the dead zone's called that for a couple of reasons. The first one is people have a tendency there to just die because of the altitude, but also that's the area where you see a lot of the climbers who haven't made it.
Gosh, really?
Because it's pretty difficult to get them off.
How awful.
And as much as you would want to carry a person down, you just can't do it.
No.
So it's boys' own stuff, but it's definitely worth it. I just wish he was a better writer. I don't know what I'm asking anymore, but show us a book.
Right.
2 books.
Well, yes. I'll tell you why. What I'm reading now is this. I was reminded of this series of books recently. I can't think why. I might have been chatting with Sally about the TV series, but I'm reading. I'll just hold it up. I'm reading this, which is one of the Number One Ladies Detective Agencies series. This is actually book number 13 in the series. I've read all the others, and to be honest, I thought he'd stop writing them. I don't know why I thought that. But I discovered that he hasn't, and there's 3 that I haven't read. It looks like he brings one out a year. So this is the next one in sequence. And I absolutely love these books. I think most people will know what the books are, the Number One Ladies Detective Agency. If you don't, then I would say go and buy the first one really and give it a go. They're fantastic books, and I read all of the books, up to the point that there was before the TV series came out. And I say series, but I think they only made a few.
1.
Was there only 1?
Yeah, because the director died.
Is that what happened?
Yes. I think they'd have made more.
Well, I wondered why.
Anthony. Is it Anthony Minghella?
Right, you're right. Now you've said it, I do remember.
Yeah.
It was a really fantastic adaptation on the TV, and the characters were what I imagined in my head from the book, which is always a tricky thing, I think, isn't it? You're always worried. But so I got from on Amazon, and actually number 15 is out today, so I should get it today. I pre-ordered it, so normally when you pre-order you get it the day, don't you? So this is 13, the Limpopo Academy of Private Detection with a lovely elephant, and this one is number 14, the one afterwards. And I love them. It's funny how I haven't read them for a few years, but I started reading number 13 and it's just like you carrying on, like I remembered everything that happened previously. Because I think the characters are so, so vivid, you do remember. So I'm absolutely loving these. So if anybody else is reading these at the moment, any of them, whiz me a message and tell me what you think, because I absolutely love them, and I look forward to going to bed now. I don't normally.
We should have a read along.
But yeah, maybe we should.
Have a thread.
Maybe we should, yeah.
Anyone fancies reading it at the same time?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd love to do that with some books.
People do that, yeah.
That'd be great fun.
That. Maybe we'll do that. Tell me if you want to have a little knit along for any of the ladies' detective books.
Let's see if anyone takes me up on an offer for the book I'm reading.
Oh yeah. But fantastic books, love them.
You ready for another one?
Yes. Dan Jones.
Yes.
What's on your bookshelf?
Yes, I
Thank
think that's
you.
what we asked.
I deserve a prize. For that.
So, who would like to have a read along for this?
Oh my gosh. Bit heavy.
I've had this book a while, and I tried to read it before. And Richard Holmes used to do. He's a bit of an idol, actually.
Richard Holmes. Do I know him?
He did a TV program, a historical TV program called War Walks, and lots of people have done things similar to that afterwards, but no one did it like he did. He was extremely descriptive and passionate about what he was talking about. and made you think and believe that you were there, even though you were just, obviously he was walking you through the areas of where these battles went on. Unfortunately, he's died, which is a real shame. But he wrote a few books. This one is about Wellington, and it's one that Kay bought me ages ago, and I started to read it, and I struggled a bit with it because I just wasn't. I think the issue was mine. He's a very academic writer, and so I'm reading it again, and I'm definitely finding it's going in more, and I'm understanding more. And he changed the face of the world really, because had he not done what he'd done, then Bonaparte may well have won, and we might all be speaking French. Not that would be a problem. Certainly wouldn't have a problem in Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Je m'appelle Dan.
Oh, stop it.
Quel âge
I was
as-tu?
terrible at French at school. Absolutely terrible. Languages just didn't go in.
So we go to Spain on holiday, and we fly out to Spain, and we get a car, and we're driving along, and we go through a toll, and we get to the toll, and I have a little chat with the guy in the toll booth in Spanish, and she's giggling like a complete nutcase next to me. I said, "What are you doing? Why are you laughing at me?" Because I speak in Spanish.
I suppose. I think it's always weird when you hear someone talking in a different language, isn't
It was very funny. Hola. I feel like Dora the Explorer.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the end of what's on your bookshelf.
Yes. Oh, we've got to choose someone.
We do.
So who's...
For what's on
your bookshelf? And this is a lady who is very bookish.
Yes.
I would
Some might say no.
No. And we've known her for a little while now, haven't we?
Yes, after we went to Byland, she messaged us and asked me for pictures of the floor because she wanted to design something.
And I think she
with
might
that.
be doing that, yeah. So you know who you are now.
So we bunged emails backwards and forwards a little bit. She wasn't on Instagram, but I think she might be soon.
Ah, cool.
But
So what's on your bookshelf is Robin. Robin is 92 on Ravelry, and Robin has actually just started her own podcast.
And it's really good.
It's really good.
It's really good.
She's on she's done 3 episodes. The podcast is called Stitching Between Pages on YouTube. So go check her out. She's super sweet. I'm not sure how old you are, but
Should never ask a lady.
no, she's very young, otherwise, you're not going to say that. She's very young. She graduated college, I think, maybe, I don't know, is it about a year ago now, Robin? And she got a job last year, works in Washington, lives in Washington, DC, which is very exciting, I think.
Kay gets very excited when she hears DuPont Circle.
Oh, I do, because I watched the other day one of my favourite films ever is The American President. Michael Douglas and
But also West Wing as well.
Annette
We love
Bening
that.
and West Wing. And they're always talking about DuPont Circle, and they have no idea what this is. Is it a road? Is it an actual circle?
Well, I'm guessing it's a roundabout.
Is it like a big roundabout?
Well,
Because
I'm guessing.
Annette Bening on it says she got stuck on DuPont Circle. And then it also makes me think there's a yarn dyer, and I think they must be based in Washington because she's got a colourway called DuPont Circle.
Right.
Because Gail talks about, I don't know if she's had that colourway. So it always makes me think of that. So, Robin, go and tell us what's on your bookshelf. We really want to know.
Robin's proper into her history.
She
really
is.
likes medieval history, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
She does. That was one of her majors, wasn't it? Medieval history.
I'll tell you
I think.
something, Robin.
I think.
I'd love to just sit down and chat with
Have a
you
good
about
old
that.
knit and natter.
It's not very many. Nitty natter.
Nitty
natter Zena.
Nitty natty Zena. Zena, that's what we used to call you. Nitty natty Zena.
Isn't that what?
She was. She was
Yeah,
Nitty
yeah.
Nat. Yeah, she
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Hopefully
she
that wasn't
was.
some
No,
Mickey.
no. No, that's what she was. Her
Good.
podcast was before she was.
Little yellow uke.
Yeah, before she
Yes.
started on her uke.
Which is cool. So yeah, Robin, I tell you, I'd love to just sit down and drink a nice cup of tea and talk to you about history.
Yeah.
It's very rare. I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to talk to someone who
No.
knows loads and loads about history.
Because I don't.
But it's cool. It works because you're interested.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool just to sit down and talk to someone who could maybe teach me some things, because I think she could.
So Robin,
Quite a
go
lot.
over to the What's on Your Bookshelf thread and
Show us quick.
tell us what you're reading. Yeah.
Got to show us.
And everybody go watch her. Super good.
I think now it's probably time for
Endy bits.
Endy Bits.
Endy bits.
And we should probably start Endy Bits with a public service announcement.
What's that?
It's a public service announcement from the Bakery Bears.
Public service announcement.
Yeah. Yeah, we just need... don't really know what to say, really, because we've been having a really tough few weeks because we don't quite know what to do. Well, we sort of know what we've got to do, and it's as simple as that, really. Because of what's happened in the last year, and with me being ill, it's meant that we've had certain things that have enabled us to feed ourselves. And now I'm no longer, well, touch wood, I'm currently no longer unwell. We now need to feed ourselves again. And unfortunately, I have spent a vast amount of time producing the podcast. We both have.
Yeah.
It's all right me saying I.
And, you know, we love doing it. You know, that's,
Too right, we love doing it.
That's why we've done it.
I've done it because I love it.
We've kind of had that little luxury of time, you know, of being able to do that without having to worry about
money.
You know, about money. But you know, that doesn't last forever, does it? And like Dan said, we run our own business, as I'm sure you all know, and that, you know, has taken up. We've got to get back into that and start working properly again, I suppose, is what to say. And that obviously takes time, and it means that something really has got to give.
And the reason why we're talking about it in this way is we really feel that there's a dilemma there for us, because we want to do this. We really, don't we?
Yeah.
We found something that we love doing together, and I hope that you have enjoyed what we've done. And we would love to try and find a way of keeping doing what we're doing. And what's so frustrating is it is just the tip of the iceberg, really, because we've got so many other...
we'd love to do lots of other things, you know.
There's so many other things that we could do. We've got loads of ideas. I'd love to do a more history-focused podcast with a knitting twist, of course, but something, you know, really focused on that. And Kay would love to do baking things. The problem is we can't put food on the table podcasting.
No.
Unless any of you know a way that we can. So we're not saying we're going anywhere.
No. I mean, what we're saying is that we're not able to spend the time on the podcast that we have done historically this past sort of 6-8 months, I suppose, in particular. Because it has escalated up, hasn't it? You know, when we started out, we did do out and abouts, but not to the degree of...
When we started out, we did not do location filming.
No.
Proper location filming only started when I got better.
Yeah. So what we're saying is, we know we're not going anywhere. We are going to carry on podcasting, but...
We want to, more than anything, keep doing what we're doing at the same level that we're doing it. And we both find it intensely frustrating that we can't do that. And we've honestly... And the other thing that we didn't want to do was, you know, this morning when we got up, we were uncertain as to what we were going to say to you guys, because part of us just thought, well, we just need to say we're going to be slowing down a bit and not go into more detail. But I think we owe it to you guys to go into more detail.
We've always been honest about things, as you know, with Dan's illness, you know, and other things that have happened. We've always been completely honest and open. And we thought, you know, we owe it to you just to let you know exactly what's going on. And so, you know, we will carry on, but, you know, we're not going to be able to do the outs and abouts like we have, and, you know, bakery segments and things like that of the other things that take all the time.
Yeah, I mean, people may not realise, I think a few people have probably twigged when they've, you know, given certain bits of feedback, but it takes hours and hours. And I've done that because I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I love doing it for us and for you. And I really want to carry on, and I really feel like we just found something that works for us.
Yeah, but, you know, obviously...
it's like I say, unless anyone has an idea as to how we could do this...
Yeah, I mean, we all need to earn a living, don't we? And, you know, that's the crux of it. So
Don't think that we don't want to.
No,
because
we really
do.
We do really want to,
and we will do. I mean,
we'll carry on podcasting. They just might not be as regular as they used to be, and
they might not be as long.
Not be as long, and we will basically podcast whenever we can to whatever extent we are able to do. But we do have to prioritise
eating.
Paying the bills, eating, all these boring things that we all have to do. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, if anyone has any ideas, please shout.
Yeah,
but otherwise, we'll see you soon.
We're not going to put any time. We're not going to say it'll be 2. It could well be 2 weeks.
Hopefully it will be.
Hopefully it will be 2 weeks. That's what we will always aim for, but it might not be. So don't worry. If we're not there in 2 weeks' time, please don't worry. We're fine, we're okay, but we've just got to get on, really, and do what we need to do.
In summary, we'll be here whenever we can, and don't think that we don't want to be. I think that was the most important thing for me, that people didn't think that, they don't want to do it. We blooming love it.
We would sit here every week if we could.
People say all the time, and it's so sweet when people say you should do it full time. I mean, it's a lovely thing to say, but how you go about that.
How we do that, it's another thing.
We've looked, and we just don't know how we could.
Yeah.
Other endy bits.
I haven't bought any yarn. But
we've got to eat.
Well, yeah. And I don't really need to buy any. But however, we were sent some fabulous yarn. One of the skeins you've already seen that Dan's knitting his Bankhead with. And Deb sent four skeins of yarn. Deb, if you'd seen my face on that day, I was like, I opened the package and I'm like, why has she done that? I was totally gobsmacked, as we would say in Yorkshire. So she sent another skein of hand spun. Look at this beautilicious superwash BFL. Look at that. Beautiful colours. Very kind of early autumn colours, I would say, if you know what I mean with that, where the leaves are just starting to turn. Absolutely gorgeous. Superwash BFL, so it's really lovely. So that one, I think, was yours, wasn't it?
Oh, thank you.
And then she also sent some Elliott DK, which is 55% superwash BFL, 45% mulberry silk, and it's a DK weight, and that's in the colourway. That word there. I don't even know.
Gaia.
Gaia. It's Gaia. Is that how you would say that? Deb?
Yes, Gaia.
Right.
That I've seen that word before. I am 99.9% certain that there is a keyboard made by either Korg or I'm thinking Roland.
It's called a Gaia.
Yes.
Right. There'll be a reason it's called that. I know she names her yarn.
Well, I would guess
it's very much like
if there's a Korg or a Roland keyboard named that, it's Japanese.
Gosh. Look at this. I totally should have asked Deb for yarn for the Melina. Look at this. That's my purple Melina that I knit. Oh my goodness.
I told her, Deb.
I
told her.
Why did I not ask Deb?
Did she listen?
When I was doing that.
No.
Because, look, if you want to knit a Melina, oh my goodness, I'm kind of speechless at that, really, because it's just beautiful. Deb. And then the last one she sent, and I absolutely love this one, is Austin High Twist. It's 80% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 10% cashmere, and it's 1 tequila, 2 tequila.
3 tequila.
More.
5 tequila.
Is the colourway.
No, it's 4.
And look at the colours. Pink and purple and like a orangey colour. Oh my goodness.
That's really nice.
It's
Deb never did that.
Beautiful. Isn't it gorgeous? And it's so
That's
soft.
amazing.
Look at the colours.
No, that sounded wrong. That sounded like...
And the nails kind of match. Look. Okay. Deb, fantastic. So that might be my next pair of socks, actually.
Hold on.
Yeah, it does match.
That would totally match. If I had a Melina...
Oh, you would be a girl. I can cope with pink shirts. I don't know about pink cowls.
Do you remember that Christmas?
Too far.
Do you remember that Christmas? I put the pink shirt on and Bryony was a baby and I went in to pick her up and she just cried her eyes out. It's just hilarious. You said that you thought she was just shocked because it was just woken up.
Princess Charlotte, how lovely was that? And Bryony predicted when the baby was born and we didn't know the name. I said, Bryony, what do you think they're going to call it? Charlotte, she said.
Nice.
And it's Charlotte. So that's my beautiful yarn.
What else?
I got. I think that's it.
Genius.
I don't think I've got any more indie bits.
Genius.
The only other thing I did was when we went to where did we just go?
She got another planner.
It's not a planner. Where did we just go? Mount Grace. Of course, there's always gift shops, isn't there? And you know.
Yes, the most poorly run gift shop.
Gosh, it was terrible.
In fact, I do not blame the
staff,
people at Mount Grace Priory. I blame the English Heritage.
Yeah.
You need to focus your staff's attention onto. They're obsessed, right, on getting you to become a member.
Which we are.
Now, we are members, okay? So you're a member, and whenever we go anywhere, you would walk in, and as a member, you would expect to have a nice slick flow through because you're a member of this organisation.
No.
What they're interested in is signing up the next member, and you get treated like a second-class citizen.
So there was like a huge queue, and you know they were having a 20-minute conversation with people at the front of the queue trying to sell their memberships when they've got a queue out the door.
You've got to shift your focus onto customer service rather than sales revenue.
Really have.
Shocking.
But in the gift shop, Bryony saw this fabulous book. Oh, look at that! Can you see it? And it's got like a little magnetic clippy thing.
Clippy?
Yeah. Oh, Robin will be loving this with all the medieval stuff. It does look kind of medieval, doesn't it? And it's just a plain little notebook. And Bryony eyed it up, and I said, okay, I got it. I said, I can't get that because it's quite expensive, really, for what it is. But then on the way out, I picked it up and I showed her, and she went, "Oh, did you get that beautiful book?" So now this is going to be our book whenever we go out on day trips, because Bryony she always carries a little notebook around. She's so sweet. She carries a little notebook around, a pen, and she writes things down that she reads, and she draws little pictures and everything. So this was the one from Mount Grace. Look what she did. She wrote a bit about the house, pictures of flowers that she saw. Look, a bit of the wallpaper over there, a bluebell over this side. How cute is that?
That's us done.
Oh, well, I hope so.
Yes.
I'm sorry that our episodes are so massively long.
Happy podcasterversary. Oh, yes. And, yeah, actually, in the words of Dancing Dog Dye Works, if there are any large corporations out there who would like to sponsor us, then please do get in touch.
That's so funny. Michelle.
Michelle.
Oh, thank you, everybody, for doing all those little videos. I had no idea.
Epic videos.
I had no idea.
Kay still hasn't seen them all. Oh, gosh. Rather nice. Yeah, and thank you so much, everyone, actually, for sending in your
the little snippets.
Podcasterversary things. There's been some just amazing ones from all over the world, which has been so lovely to see. So I hope you've enjoyed all those.
Just very finally, I'm not doing a bag update this Saturday, actually. Just
because
while
you
I
did
remember.
one.
I've done one
yesterday.
I've done one the past few Saturdays, and to be honest, I've kind of not run out of fabric, but and I like doing do you know when I've done like batches of the same fabric and done them as like special runs? I like doing it that way because then I get a group of people that I know have all managed to get one of those.
Can we do a special medieval?
Medieval was one I'm gonna go to the fabric shop in town. So hopefully a week on Saturday I'll have some. But what I might do is like what I did yesterday. I went through my fabric. I thought, I love that fabric, and I just sewed up like 3 bags.
Well, what you should
do, and I just stuck them in the shop straight away.
Just do that.
I might do that. Yeah, I'll do that whenever I can.
You said, didn't you, that the people who got that flash update?
Yes.
Were people who don't normally,
and that's why I did it. But the other thing is, I'm really sorry about the late update on the last one. Oh my gosh, I was so stressed.
But obviously, you'll understand that there's been issues going on with family.
So hopefully that won't happen again. I need no more
telling off.
No, I just need no more
disasters,
crises.
Yeah. We'll see you for the next episode really soon.
Bye.
Happy Podcasterversary, my beloved bakery bears, Kay and Dan Jones. They would like to say hi and thank you so much for putting out your content and sharing your lives with us. I'll see you later. Bye.
Well, happy Podcasterversary, Kay and Dan. Happy Podcasterversary.
Hello.
It's JC wishing the Bakery Bears and the Jones family a very happy Podcasterversary. Anyway, thanks so much for all you do. Bye-bye.
Dan and Kay Jones, happy 1 year podiversary.
Okay, and happy Podcasterversary from Sue Loops and Barney.